What's up, everybody? Apoth here with DJ Tech Tools. I want to show you how to do Drumception. Let's use a drum rack in a drum rack with a couple of MIDI effects to create a really cool round robin style button where you can press it and get multiple things out of the same button. Let's get started. Okay, so first thing you want to go and put an empty drum rack on your drum rack. Okay, next thing, I already know this is my sample I want to use. You can use whatever sample you want to. Just going to pull in here and clean it up. Okay, so I know I want this second sound. I already messed with it. Okay, so you want to look for your zero crossing here. That's where the sample starts and where it ends. Because if you miss the ending, you're going to press this button 1,000 times and it might end up with clipping if you do compression or anything crazy like that or any sort of effects. So let's just trim it up really nice and clean. Okay, so we'll move the starter here. Okay, and then we can turn snap on, and that should help the end of it. But let's zoom out some, grab the tail here, pull that in, zoom back in just a little bit. Okay, all right, so snap took care of that. Now we're good. We can crop that. Okay, next thing, let's go ahead and map our release and attack. Basically any parameters you might want to change later. The reason I do this is if you have multiple samples and you copy them, you can save those settings and then you can change the release and attack on all of them, and it's much faster than trying to go in and do it each individual one. So we'll duplicate this 3 times. Okay, change our release back up to 60 seconds just so it'll play out the full way. With your starting sample, you want to match the output of the button to the input or the receive on the nested drum rack for the first sample. So we're going to make that match. It's going to be C3 to C3. Okay. Then we'll change the other ones accordingly. All right, so now we've got all 4 of these in a chromatic order. That way, whenever we make it work, they'll play together. Okay, so next thing, we're going to stick a couple of MIDI effects on the front of here. And this is not required, but put a chord in front of each sample. And then we'll copy this and put it on the others and change it slightly. All right, and then I'm going to change my last 2 samples. I'm going to change them up by a semitone so they have a different sound to them. You'll see why in a moment. Okay, now here's the cool part. You're going to take a random and drop it in front of your entire nested drum rack. What this is going to do is it's actually going to make it cycle. And how we do that is you can change the chance to 100% so it always works. The choices is going to be how many samples or how many times you want it to play through before it goes back. And then on the mode, change it from random to alt, and that'll make sure the next sample goes along. And then the scale is how many samples it'll skip. So how many times it's going to skip through the cycle. Let's put an arpeggiator in front of each one of those so we can have some cool sounds. Okay, and so I went ahead and dropped on just an EQ8 to clean up the sound some, a simple delay just to give it some space, and then an auto filter that I've set to go on a triangle wave up and down. So while we press this button, it'll continually shape the sound and make it just go in and out. All right, let's test this out now. So there we go, pretty cool. And you can do this with a bunch of different samples and all sorts of things. You can leave it on random and just make it vary a bunch. I hope you guys really enjoy this, and I hope you get some mileage out of it if you're making sound packs. And if not, use it in your normal production. You can find some pretty cool stuff with it.